I know I'm a day late, but let's talk about the Red era of the Eras tour. Now, this is the first era that I'm talking about where I not only had to look up the order of the songs in the set list because I couldn't remember what order two of them were in, but I also had a really, really hard time finding pictures of the costumes. And if that doesn't sum up kind of my feelings for the Red set, I don't know what does. Now, first of all, let's talk about the transition into the Red set. Speak Now ends, and then everything kind of turns red, and one of the dancers comes out with a big red box, and every time she opens it, a red song plays out of it. Sometimes it was Holy Ground, State of Grace, everything has changed. Those are the only ones I can remember, but I feel like there was one or two more that would come out of it. But you get the gist, and then at the end, she opens it all the way, and on the screen directly behind it, balloons float up out of the box. Now, that effect really only looks good if you are facing the screen. If you're on the sides, it doesn't really look like they're coming out of the box, but who cares? It's the thought that counts. Then Taylor comes out and she opens with 22, and I actually think 22 works really well as the opener. I think it sets the mood, it's really fun, I like it. And then this is where I had to look up the order, because I knew that she played We Were Never Ever Getting Back Together and I Knew You Were Trouble, but I couldn't remember what order they went in. But that's the order. It's 22, We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together, I Knew You Were Trouble. And then after those three are done, she transitions and she plays the All Too Well 10-minute version. Except on nights when Phoebe Bridgers was there, she would play Nothing New with her in between I Knew You Were Trouble and All Too Well 10-minute version. So the thing I realized when thinking about this set list and why I can't commit to saying that I like it is because my thoughts of the Red album are so heavily placed in the Taylor's version and not in the original 2012 version. And the reason I say that is because she really doubled down on the sad girl autumn fall vibes of Red for the re-recording that were present on the original, but they weren't the focus. The focus of the original is songs like We Were Never Ever Getting Back Together, I Knew You Were Trouble, 22. Meanwhile, the focus of the re-recording was the devastating All Too Well 10-minute version. So, on paper, I think it made a lot of sense that, yeah, three of the biggest hits from Red be played, and then we play All Too Well, the biggest hit from the re-recording, and then bada boom, there's your set list. But I'm gonna be honest, I kind of wish that I Knew You Were Trouble wasn't on the set list, and it was replaced by either Holy Ground or State of Grace. I think that would have provided a better balance to the set list, rather than doing, the three big pop hits of the album, and then my 10-minute heartbreaking magnum opus. And I do think the set felt more balanced on nights when Phoebe was there to play Nothing New. But I still stand by, I think 22 and We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together absolutely have a place on this set list. And honestly, right now in this moment thinking about it, it could have just been Holy Ground played after I Knew You Were Trouble, and then on nights when Phoebe was there, they did Nothing New instead of Holy Ground. But I don't know. Who am I? Let's talk about the costumes. So Red's actually pretty straightforward. She had 3 t-shirts that she wore during 22. This is my least favorite. We're Never Ever Getting Back Together, ever. It's fine. It's just a lyric, but it's a good lyric. Second place, Who is Taylor Swift Anyway? Ew. This one just makes me giggle. I think it's funny, her poking fun at herself, and I think if there's any era to poke fun at herself, the Red era is the one to do it in. So I really like this one. But my favorite is A Lot Going On at the Moment, because it's a spin on Not a Lot Going On at the Moment, which goes down in infamy as the way she teased Folklore and Evermore and the shirt she wore in the original 22 music video, but A Lot Going On at the Moment because she's on the Eras tour. It's just, I love this shirt. And then she takes the shirt off to reveal this bodysuit underneath. I really like this. I really like the sparkles of the red fading into the black. It's really nice. And then she puts on a long jacket over it that matches the material and the sparkles and everything to play All Too Well. And I'm going to be honest, I've never been a big fan of this jacket. I don't think it's very flattering. It's very bulky and chunky and sits and is so long. It's beautiful to look at, but I'm just not the biggest fan of it. And then I, of course, have to mention, during 22 every night, she would give the hat to one person in the audience who was chosen to come up and receive the signed hat from 22. And I think that was really nice, a really cool way to have a moment in the show to, directly connect with someone from the audience. It was really cool. And it was usually a young kid, which was also really cool, because, wow, they have that for the rest of their life now. So yeah, I think the biggest conclusion I've come to in, gathering my thoughts about this is that this set list shows how Taylor kind of reevaluated her view of Red for the re-recording compared to the original in a way that didn't affect Fearless or Speak Now, and it makes me curious about what's going to happen with 1989, because the original 1989 is so city vibes, and the re-recording so far is so beachy vibes. So again, she's kind of reevaluating the way this album was originally marketed and pushed, and change. I don't know. It's just really interesting with the re-recordings and how it's affected Red and now seems to be affecting 1989. Because I'm not saying that Red wasn't always Sad Girl Autumn, but she really put that at the forefront with the re-recording. Anyway, I've talked for like 5 minutes about this. We can move on, come back later today, hopefully, and we'll talk about folklore.